Welcome, everyone, to the final stretch with Clarissa F. This is the one, the only Clarissa F. I am here on this special bonus episode of the final stretch with Clarissa F. You guys, I'm so happy to be here restarting this podcast for you guys. As most of you know, I am back in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio. Kicking it, regrouping, saving up money till I make my big move, per usual. So I have two special guests with me for this episode. Just to let you guys know, this episode is all about quarantining. I called it quarantine cleaning because I'm cleaning out my brain, I'm cleaning out my thoughts. And I brought two lovely, very funny ladies on just to sift through all the mess with me. So first and foremost, just want to point out that new episodes of the final stretch with Clarissa F are coming out June 4th. So I'm excited about that. So keep an eye out for that. Before we get started, I do want to make a couple of introductions. The first one that I'm bringing on to this wonderful episode is the very funny, graciously vocal, and providing so much wonderful input. I have the very funny Amanda. What's your last name? Martinez? Ramirez. Just kidding.
Yay!
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
What's up, everybody? Hi, all of Clarissa's fans. My name is Amanda Ramirez. See, I just waited. I said, I know you'll get it. And if you get it wrong, I'll surely correct you. Yeah. But hey, at least you're in the right ethnicity. That's cool. That's commendable. Right.
And then, so now that we have Amanda here, the other lady is very dear to my heart. To be honest, this is our first time interacting in 10 years, but I still follow her on social media, and she's making money moves and godly money moves, which is even better. I have the wonderful YouTuber and Christian, BrianaJay.
Hey y'all, it's your girl BrianaJay coming to you live from a different platform, the one you're not used to seeing me on, but I'm so honored and blessed to be here. It's your girl BrianaJay on the final stretch with Clarissa F. And thank you so much, Clarissa girl. It's been so long, but I feel like when we started talking, it was as if no time had gone by.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. Before we do get started though, a little candid technical question. Were you able to see us live, both of you,
yes.
On the Facebook?
It's on Facebook right now. It's not on gallery view though.
What's gallery view? Tell the listeners what gallery view is, Brianna.
So when you can see all the faces at the same time, but I don't even know if that's an option on Facebook.
No, it's not. I know that. See, I do know a little bit about technology. You cannot see it. It's just going to be our heads one at a time.
Oh,
just
okay.
Bobbing up and through Facebook.
I'm okay with that.
So you were able to see it on
Facebook. Look at me. Look at my face right there.
Oh my God. People are posting?
Yeah, my people are in here. Thank you, Serena. Thank you. Wait, hold up. Thank you, Serena, my best friend. Thank you, Antoinette, my best friend. People on here. Thank y'all for supporting me with everything that I do. Thank you. And anybody else that are on here for me, I love you and thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Wait, how do I'm trying to do that watch party thing. Brianna just showed me how to use watch party and I'm trying to do it. So I went to live videos, right?
No, you are already that was just an example. You go to your video now and click share and then start watch party.
I go to my video?
If it's on your page, you're kind of, you already have a watch party.
I don't really.
You are the party.
Oh, that makes sense. So Amanda's right. You don't have to start a watch party because you already started it. Unless, are you sharing it to a different page?
Yeah, I'm sharing it to a different page. How do I share it? Because I am Clarissa F. I got my Facebook pages, my fan pages set up.
Right, your personal page.
But I got to figure out how to share it to my personal page. How do I do that?
You share it and then you say, I can't even click out because I'm having a watch party, but you got my people in here and the party hasn't even started.
You know what? The party is about to start. Forget it. My people, y'all see the after party. You know what I mean? The recording, the YouTube upload, the Zoom link. I'll provide it. But right now, let's get into it. Let's get into some discusiones. Okay, that's discussions in Spanish. Sorry to be racist, Amanda. I just realized what I did.
I don't know. It might be correct.
Okay. So first of all, I like to get into what I call happies and crappies. And so that's where we talk about like 1 to 3 happy things that has happened to us during this quarantine. And then 1 to 3 terrible, just things you're like, you know what, I could have done without that. I did not need to learn that lesson. So I'll get started. My first happy is I got a car.
Woo! All right.
I'm pausing for all the applaud out there in Facebook right there. I got a car. I have been on the bus, on foot, and on my knees since I was like 16 years old. Brianna knows I didn't have a car in high school. I had none of that.
Nobody did.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Shawan had his old 2000 Toyota Camry that we used to run all over Columbus, but none of us had cars. And I'm happy to say I finally afforded my first one, making those payments on time, got the car insurance on deck. So that's happy. Yes. Another happy is that I know how to drive that car. I'm getting better and better at it. I took NCARs in high school, and I did not know how to drive, even though I took those classes. So all these years later, I can drive a car. So that's another happy. One more happy is that I'm getting good at my full-time job. I can do it now. So I'm happy about that. Some crappies. I have to pass this big licensing exam for my job to get state certified. And I am barely scraping by, and that test is in 2 weeks. So y'all can pray on that, because I haven't studied in the trenches since college, since like sophomore year of college. And I want to do so many other things other than study, including sleep, eat. I would much rather clean my whole house than to study for this exam. Another crappy, we'll talk about this later, but working from home when you're on the phones all day is not the happiest thing in the world. It's definitely a crappy on my end. I've tried all different locations in my house to make things happy, but it's not for me. So I said those are my 2 crappies. Those are my happies. So whoever wants to hop on next, just give us a little bit, some happies and crappies for the listeners.
All right. Happies. So I think for the last probably 5 years, I have just been like really hoping for a time where I didn't have to do anything at all. I'm like, gosh, wouldn't it be so great if I just like could just do a hard reset, take like 5 weeks off just to myself, just to hit the hard reset button. And I promise you, I would get my life together. And then quarantine hit. And so this will lead into the crappy. It's not going the way I thought it would. Now I really commend people that are using this time that they have to work on themselves and to continue to grow and things like that. But I think just the overall crappy for me would be just I think we're, for the most part, we're all probably pretty social people. But some of us are on that 10 on an extroverted scale. So it's very much like getting used to your inner introvert, and it's like, she's okay. I'll keep her around for a while. So I don't know. That's happy and crappy for me, all rolled up into one. Stimulus came. That's always a happy event too. So,
Mhm.
Amen, amen. So happy and crappies. Okay, I'll start off with some happies. I love working from home. I do not get your pain, Clarissa. I love it. I love it. I love it. I do not want to go back into the office. So that's been amazing for me. It's been amazing not having to rip and run places, not having to, and I don't even have no kids. So what am I doing? Why is my schedule so packed? I don't know, but it do be packed. So I'm enjoying not having to do anything at all. Today I made tuna salad. That's a happy for me because I've never made it before. And I almost forgot the tuna. I was cutting up the eggs and I was like, something is missing. What is missing from this meal? So that's a happy. Crappies, I don't have any crappies because today I got out of my rut. I was in a rut for like 10 days straight and it was horrible. It was painful. This quarantine had been getting to me and my anxiety was really high and sadness was crazy. And I haven't been sleeping. But today I woke up and I felt brand new and I felt refreshed and I felt like God gave, the Lord, let me tell y'all, I'm not about this. This ain't no preaching session for y'all, but I'm just saying God is good because he pulled me out of my rut and, he gave me another push and he breathed more life into me to have the tenacity to keep going. So life's good. I can't complain.
Y'all, I'm still okay. I listened to all that. I got a lot to say, but I'm still trying to figure out where can I find. I'm low-key salty because did the live show up on the group? I mean, on the event page.
I don't know. I got my Facebook party going. I got all my technical things out. Period.
Oh my
God. Okay, so this is what you do. Do you have the live on right now? So do you have the share button? Let me exit out of what I got going on to help you. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get on out of this. It's not going to let me. Oh, it's not going to. So pretty much when you hit the share button, you click share to a page.
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
Let me see if let me go in on under a different profile. Okay.
Y'all got my lashes out here looking all crooked and whatnot on this live. I'm just watching myself. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate the love. I see all the love in this live.
So where did you find that live?
You tagged me, so it was available.
I tagged you?
Yes.
You got a notification that we were going live?
No, I got a notification that Clarissa tagged me in a video.
Oh, where's that post?
It's on your actual Clarissa page. You did not do it from the stretch from Clarissa app.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and go back to my personal page, and then I'm gonna let this go. Okay. Wow, this is very. I don't want to say ghetto of my Facebook.
It's not ghetto when you know what you're doing.
I know it's the bomb when I know what I'm doing, but
I'm just joking with you.
Wow, it didn't even show up on, maybe it's my phone. Anyway, so let's get it started. Let's get started on our discussion. Just to go off. So let's talk about quarantine creating, okay? We have everybody out there who's like, write your screenplay, write your blog, write your article, paint that picture, build that desk. What are you guys making? What are you creating? What's going on?
I've been seeing that a lot on, Facebook, Instagram, and all these different blogs talk about now is the time to kind of make your dreams happen. And I think that, yes, I'm trying to do that in terms of, growing my YouTube and whatnot. I got a video coming out that was supposed to be out on Monday, but I'm sorry, y'all, it's not out on Monday. what's today? Today is not Monday, so you know it's not out. But I have a video coming out, and it's called birthing what's inside of you. And oftentimes when you hear about birthing, you hear about how you need to birth that business inside of you. You need to birth whatever God placed on the inside of you. You need to birth that. But what my video is going to be about is birthing that new you that God wants you to become. So that's the video that I'm working on. But some days I'm not working on it. Some days I'm relaxing. Some days I'm happy. Some days I'm sad. Some days I'm glad. Some days I'm mad. So I think that we need to leave room when it comes to creators and people that love to create things. I think we need to leave room for people to have up and down days. I think that it would be unreasonable, in my opinion, to expect somebody to constantly create. Because I can't do that. I have to, as you guys know, as creators, you have to be motivated. If you're not inspired, it's like you have no content. So I have to wait to become inspired some days, inspired to record a video, inspired to get on camera, because some days I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I feel a few things about that. So for me right now, I shouldn't be creating anything. I should be studying all the time, but I still need to take breaks. For me, like creating is a break. I think about it in terms of like my writing. I think about it in terms of like a lot of things, but I feel there's for me, because I want this to be my profession, but for right now it's not my profession.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to treat it at least as a priority. And so I do feel a pressure to create, but I know it's just not going to happen right now during quarantine. I've come to terms with that. Like, I don't feel the pressure to do it during quarantine. I don't feel like I have more time. I'm still working a job. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still studying. There is going to, get that point. There's going to be that point in my life where hopefully I'm writing so much or I'm creating so much that I don't want to be doing it,
Mm-hmm.
Where that is my full-time job, or, so
Mm-hmm.
where we won't have time to wait to be inspired. We're gonna have to figure that out, right away. But I just feel like
that's one thing that I always wonder is when it comes to creators like rappers and even writers, it's like you constantly have to be on point. There's like no room for you not to be good.
Yeah, I think, and it also depends on like, that's a good point. It also depends on like what style of writing you have to think about. By the time we see some of these people on the platforms that they're on, they've been doing this for their whole lives or years at least. And it takes a machine. They have machines behind them. Like rappers have ghostwriters. They're not thinking of those lyrics all the time. And if they are, good for them. But I think like, I mean, if you wanted to, you could sit down and write rap lyrics all day. If that's what you wanted to do, you wanted to come up with witty stuff. If that's what you're passionate about. If that's the pressure you want to live under. But I do think we do have to remember, like, for example, right now I'm doing a lot of research on like behind the scenes for TV series and for, coming up with movie scripts and things like that, and having worked behind the scenes on those projects a little bit. Like, you see that, like, I mean, people go through hundreds of rewrites, people go through editors, people go through, there's so many layers. People write like hundreds of sketches, like comedy sketches before and then of those sketches, then those sketches are then edited, punched up with even more jokes, and then put on the air, So it's not like, I feel like this idea that everybody is out there writing good quality scripts in a short amount of time is not, or even writing in general, like, or creating in general, is not what people realize. Like, those are machines, well-oiled machines, and it's machines of very, very talented people who've been doing it for years. So this quarantine pressure, that, oh, like I saw one tweet that was like, if you're not able to finish it in this time frame, then it wasn't inspiration you lacked, it was like discipline. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true. We still have, people don't have jobs. You know what I mean? Unemployment is high. People are dying of coronavirus.
People
are riding
are
the bus.
dying. Can you give me a break, Twitter?
People out here dying. And you want me to finish a screenplay? Are you kidding me right now? Like, people don't think about those things. Like, I don't even know. Or the what they call Rock Nation Brunch Twitter. The Twitter who's like, take that stimulus money and start a business. I'm like, what? No. I have back taxes. I don't have back taxes, but like there are people who do.
Debt. I'm sorry, I'm in debt. I need to.
Yeah, I got loans. I need to have an emergency fund. I can't start a business. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
This whole like idea that, oh, you have a week off, you should be doing something, or no, I'm looking for a job. Sorry.
Yeah, the temptation's real. I mean, the energy drain, like Brianna, you had said that you were in like a 10-day funk, and I feel like I, hit that about 2 weeks ago, and then Lady Nature came through and like took another 2 weeks out of me. And so like I definitely get all of my experiences from the interactions that I have with people, my human interactions, going to work, going to events, like, and that's when my mood gets struck, like that's when the inspiration strikes and things like that. And so not being able to be in that environment, my head, it's got nothing right now. And I mean, it's one of those where it's like you said, there's people that are sick. We're going through this crisis. We're kind of being removed from our everyday lives. And so it's wonderful for the people that can accomplish their work, that have been wanting just this solitude and whatever. But yeah, I mean, for many other people that, can't go to work, they, it's a big mental distraction to, be looking for a job, or to, for some people who are like really scared about the virus and are fearful about that. Just it takes a lot of mental headspace to be like, to get around that and just to be normal, so it's like, I think they finally broke me. I'm like, okay, I'm used to staying at home now. Like, I can do this now. Maybe something will come out of it. But I will say, as far as creation, to me, the first couple of weeks of quarantine, I was cooking a lot more. Like, my cooking got a lot better. So that's really a good thing, because I always wondered, like, when am I going to get to a level of cooking where everything I eat is like a scale of 8 to 10? Because I think, when we're young, there's some things that we can do pretty well. But see, my thing is, growing up, like, my mom was very heavy-handed on the seasonings, which is not an issue. But as you get older, sometimes it gets a little off.
Yeah, because now you're trying to duplicate something that probably can't be duplicated unless you would do exactly how she do it.
And so my thing was, to me, it was always growing up, more is more. And I'm like, no, I need to refrain. So I've learned to really control how I cook. And so I'm actually really proud of that. Like, the first couple of weeks of quarantine, I've made 2 cheesecakes. I made a really good brownie, like everything from scratch, cheesecake, brownies, everything like that. This is my piece de resistance. I did a crab boil, a good crab boil, because I had been wanting, where I live in Columbus, I live on the street. I live off Bethel Road, where there's like the 2 seafood boils around me. And I'm just like, oh, one of these days I'm going to bring home a bag. Like, I can't wait. And I'm just like,
I think Columbus is turning into where everybody lives next to 2 seafood boils.
No way. Yeah, I've been eyeballing shrimp lips for a while too. I'm just like, I can't wait to get me into some shrimp lips. But yeah, I was like, I'm not going to spend the money on this crab boil. Maybe I can do it myself. And I did it. And I mean, girls, it hit so good. Like,
I'm jealous. And the thing about crab boils is you can't even invite everybody because it's just way too expensive.
I still am. If they want to bring themselves a couple crab legs, then the more the merrier. Otherwise, if you're not paying for crab legs, you need to go.
You gotta go. I'm not even telling nobody I'm having a crab boil. That's how expensive it is. Like, no plates. I'm sorry. Nothing.
Right. Like, I'm happy to provide the corn, potato, sausage. I'll make the sauce. Like, I'll take care of all that. But y'all got to throw in on these crab legs.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're still trying to get it. I understand.
I'm low key. I'm listening to the crab boil. Number one, kudos to you for making something that expensive.
Wait, before we continue, who does the keyboard thing? Because I can hear that.
The what?
It sounds like somebody's clicking on the keyboard. Is that y'all don't hear that?
That is me playing with my pen.
Oh, okay. My bad.
So I'll stop that. But yeah, I'm sorry. My friend just posted. So my friend posted, going back to Facebook, even though I just told you I gave it up. He was like, yeah, I had to search it and it didn't come up. But now that I searched the final stretch of Clarissa F, I can see like the Facebook post, but it's not in it says that it shared it in the group, but I don't see it on the event page. But those are the breaks.
Yeah, it's growing pains, y'all. So the next time Clarissa F does this, we'll be next level and we'll get all the kinks out. But you got to work with us. You got to grow with us.
Please do. So yeah, we talked about working from home a little bit. Okay, let me clarify. I would, like, if I'm writing, I would like to work from home. Like at a home office or in my backyard if I lived in a place with good weather. If I'm writing like a screenplay or an article or a short story. But like for me, the job I'm working right now required me to make like, literally I just click the button and click dial or get dial, and I press that button maybe 500 times a day till people answer their phone, and then I pitch to them. So it was kind of depressing because number one, I wasn't hitting my numbers for the first month. Mm-hmm. And number two, I was doing it in my bedroom and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'd rather be in the bed. Then I had to move to the basement because the internet wasn't working. And so I was sitting in the dark basement for 8 to 9 hours a day, just pressing this button, getting hung up on. And so it was just stressing me out. And I would rather do that in a workplace with fun people all around, people laughing, the energy is high, you can hear how everybody else is interacting on the phone. You can talk to people, you can have fun conversation.
Yeah, I understand that because I did some recruiting from home like a couple weeks before the stay-at-home hit, and I was getting the same thing. Like people would be applying for jobs and you call them back and they act like they never applied to the job that you're like trying to hire them for. It's like, okay, if you don't want a job, that's fine. I'm just trying to pay you. But like sitting in my house all day with like you said, like the work isn't necessarily the most meaningful to you. I'm just sitting there looking at the dishes that need to be done. I could probably fold my laundry right now. Like all the things that I can't wait to do when I'm at work, when I get home, is like now sitting here, and it's like torturing. Like it's like torturing me, just sitting there taunting itself. Like I know you want to clean me now, huh? How you like sitting in there? How you like sitting in this mess? You see these dishes? Yeah, I bet you wish you could put me in the dishwasher right now. So yeah, I totally 1000% feel you on that.
I see your smirk, Brianna. I see you nodding. What you got to say?
Yeah, I don't have those issues with cleaning. I'm the type I can go to sleep with the sink full of dishes. I'm I don't know. It's a horrible. I wish I wasn't like that. I wish I wasn't, but I am. So, yeah, like there have been clothes that I need to fold up, and yet I still continue to wash other clothes. It's like you shouldn't be able to wash more clothes until you fold up the ones that have already been washed.
Brianna, we may have to conference about this because I'm going through the same problem. Like right now, I'm thinking about I have these 2 ping pong like tables in my basement, and they're just full of clean clothes. And I'm like, yeah, one day this week I'm gonna bring the computer downstairs and turn on a movie and like fold all my clothes. Yeah, girl, no. If I run out of clothes, I just go to the store and buy some more because it's fun.
Girl, no. I will say though, I also have clothes downstairs in the basement, and I told myself all week, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it on the weekend, study during the week, I'm gonna do it on the weekend. I'm gonna watch Bob Loves Abishola, which is like one of my favorite shows right now. So I had it on, I thought I had DVR'd the series, okay? I was like, I got a good 2 or 3 episodes saved up, that should do it. I went down there, started folding my clothes, went to the DVR, and none of the episodes I recorded. So I was like, clearly this is a sign that this isn't gonna happen today. So I have to wait till next week and try to figure out what's going on with the episodes first. But again, I don't live just me, and I don't live with a significant other. I live under my mother's roof, so that didn't fly for too long. So I folded up my clothes, but I get it because I would have willingly put that off until I had a good 2 or 3 episodes saved up. I don't know if I would have bought clothes necessarily, but
yeah, folding clothes is definitely a whole moment. You definitely, what you about to listen to, what you about to watch, because
yeah,
you just sit here and fold clothes. You have to be occupied with something else.
Oh my God,
sure.
you feel me. And that's the thing, like okay, Clarissa, it's just a myth. I don't ever run out of clothes. That's the problem. I got too many of them. Brianna, can you relate? Like I have too many clothes, so now I need to like instead of doing like a once or twice a year like donation haul or like passing on to like a friend or a sister that could use some clothes, like wants some clothing, I might have to up this to like 3 or 4 times a year because the accumulation is strong, and I don't want to fold clothes anymore. Like I'm over it. So I think I'm going to say by the end of this stay-at-home order, I resolve to diminish 30% of my clothing. I need to. I'm speaking into existence right now. Clothes. So, Clarissa, you and me, we're not exactly the same size, but if I got something in there for you, you're going to get some. If you will willingly accept it, it's for you.
I'll take it. I was just gonna say, number one, that sounds wonderful. I love taking clothes that are from other people and wearing them. That means I don't have to buy my own. I love to buy clothes. I do not like to spend money, and I haven't figured out the balance of buying clothes without having to spend money. So I'll take those clothes.
Let me feed you then. I will. When I don't look like this, I'm very well dressed. That's the other problem I've got. This is why quarantine has got me down. I was just telling my boyfriend this. You know how, Brianna, you look beautiful, first of all. I'm sure it was effortless too, but like I've been seeing a lot of people say, yeah, girl, dress up, put on your nice clothes. You don't have to be out to wear nice clothes. Just wear what you want and feel good. I say I am a high extrovert. If I'm getting dressed up or putting on my good clothes, I want to be seen. So it's been rough not being, I have all of my cute dresses in the closet. They're ready to go. As soon as I can get back to work, it's on. I've got boots at the Torrid store that I put an order in about a week before shutdown. So they're sitting in that store. Once that opens, it'll be a different story. But yeah.
A couple things. So first thing, there's a woman, one of the professors I had at OSU. She says whenever she buys a new outfit, she gives 3 things away. So, anytime she buys an item of clothing, she gives away 3 things automatically.
That's a good practice.
Yeah, so I took that to heart. Brianna is not feeling it.
In theory, that's a good practice. I think that your heart is in the right place. I would say that, but I don't always got 3 things to give away every time I buy something new. I just don't. I mean, and I consider myself to be a giver. I try to give as much as I can, but she means 3 articles of clothing?
Yes, 3 pairs of shoes, 3 pairs of jeans. I don't know, a shirt, a pair of jeans, and some socks.
Yeah, I think it's doable, and their heart is in the right place, and I would just have to work my way up to that. But I love it. I do.
Okay, so all right, let's go into, we talked about finances a little bit. We all, I assume, got that nice stimulus package. Yes. When I say package, that one-time check, that envelope or that direct deposit. So quarantine finances, how has that been? Because let me tell you, I haven't been spending a lot of money. I would say the main thing I'm spending money on, I just placed an order at Amazon for like $100. No stunting.
Balling.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, $100. And then I also, but I've been spending my money on like eating out. Like I've been ordering food because I'm sick of eating broccoli and tuna and turkey, because when you cook at home, we talked about this, you cook healthy. Yeah, you put the seasonings on, but it's like, because you don't feel like frying a whole chicken or making a lasagna or anything, so all your food is like basic. Your everyday food at least is basic. So I've been spending, every time I've had like a big craving, I've ordered food. And of course, it's like before the delivery and surcharge, it's like $8. After delivery, it's like $30. And I'm like, I cannot believe I'm buying. I think about it like that. I'm like, this is not a gourmet gyro or gyro. This is a gyro with old lamb and some tzatziki sauce, and I just spent $27 on it. And I do it more than once.
DoorDash, Grubhub, they can't get this money. It pains me. Like, if it's not within driving distance, then I don't want it that bad. No offense to you, because it's very convenient, but yeah, those fees get me every time. I'm the kind of person where I won't even spend $3 to have a pizza delivered to me, because then I got to tip you another $3 on top of that. And I'm like, $6. What could I do with $6? And believe me, I don't save money at all. I am very, very poor at managing my money. But when it comes to them fees, I don't. Woo, DoorDash.
Remember, I'm a new driver. So I've been doing this for years. You know what I mean? So I don't think in terms of like, oh, I could just drive 10 minutes and go pick that up. I think in terms of like, okay, it's low key late at night, because this is when you get the craving. You don't get them at like 5 p.m. You get them when I get mine when I wait until about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and I'm like, I really want a pizza, or I really want a good burger, and I can't drive to Applebee's or Red Robin to pick it up.
Yeah, I was just about to make a Facebook status the other day saying that DoorDash is the enemy because they done took all my money. And it's like, I don't know, it just kept happening. And then I got roped in and I kept ordering and ordering. I've ordered so much stuff off of DoorDash during quarantine. When we first started quarantine, I was doing so good. I was cooking, grocery shopping, and I'm not even a cooker in regular without quarantine. Typically, I do eat out. But I say, you know what? It's an opportunity to, cook. And I started off right, but yeah, I've been spending way too much on DoorDash. And I tried something new, and the worst thing you could do is try a new restaurant on DoorDash. It's like, why would you make that mistake? But I tried some place new, and it took like 2 hours for my order to come. So much so that the driver was texting me like, I'm sorry, it's a long line here. And I said, low key, I really want to cancel, but you've been waiting there so long. Now I feel bad for you. I really don't even want to cancel because I feel like you've been waiting that long. So why can't I wait this long? So she ended up getting it to me, and she was really polite, and I gave her an extra tip for waiting so long. But yeah, finances during quarantine is great. I'm blessed to be able to have a job and work from home. I really can't complain. My check has not been affected. So I'm still paying all the same bills, having the same amount of money left over, which is not a lot. So I'm pretty blessed, to be honest with you.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I think like for me, I just feel like I do get judged by my delivery men and women because they're like, you really couldn't go pick up this Waffle House. Like you really couldn't go up the street. Like they all like they could tell. Because I've been looking like sometimes I think about
No, you feel guilty because you put money in their pocket.
I know, but like I look at the map on my phone and I see where the restaurant is located and I see them turn 2 corners to get to where I am and I'm like, yo, I could have driven to that.
I feel like that too, but I'll be living in the spirit of I don't feel like it. I'll just rather, just like as if somebody was cooking for me. I just want you to pull up. The meal is ready. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to change my clothes, put on something acceptable. I don't gotta do nothing.
Yeah. So
Right,
when I used to have a job, so here, well, I'll tell you about my finances in a second. But when I used to stay home from work or like have like special days when I could work at home, Chinese food was always my go-to because there usually wasn't a delivery fee. So that would be like every couple months, if I stay home, I'd always order Chinese food. And I've gotten in the habit of that. So finance wise for me, I've been contracting for the better part of a year. And so obviously when quarantine shut down, those opportunities were limited. So I started collecting unemployment and it was supposed to be effective since November of last year, but it just started paying out in March. Still very thankful for that, of course. But it comes and goes, you know, you'll get it, at least in my situation, get it for a couple weeks and then it stops because some employer that you contracted for wants to dispute it. I mean, I've heard a lot of, you know, acquaintances that I have that work in the restaurant industry. Of course, they're like, none of them can get it approved. And I'm like, yeah, I'm lucky I got it for the 4 weeks I got it because it takes a while. You know, I mean, I wish it was a snap your fingers situation, but unfortunately it's not. I did get one of the $600 checks over top of it. I don't know if anybody else is getting that every week, but I am fortunate enough to get one. So I'm holding on to that. Luckily, my spending has been decreased, and hopefully at the end of this, there will be a nice full-time job waiting for me because the interviews are happening. I will give employers that. You know, I've had a lot more interviews since the shutdown than before I was, you know, before that. And I almost wonder, you know, because having that recruiter's experience, I wonder if it's because they're able to really sit down and focus on just their job and not any of the external like meetings or immediacies or something that happens when you're in the, you know, when you're in the office. So I'm appreciative of that, which so that's been pretty awesome. But yeah, I always think of what I'm gonna say and then I forget it, so I'll hand it back to you, to Clarissa, and I'm sure I'll think of it in just like 30 seconds.
So, you know, speaking of money and being blessed, I have to say I am thankful to all the celebrities who are coming together and making videos of themselves singing to us with bad acoustics and very poorly via a cappella. I also want to thank the celebrities for filming from their beautiful mansions during this time. We have some celebrities that were recently blessed. One in particular I like to talk about is Kanye West. So Kanye West is now a billionaire, everyone. A billionaire.
Oh, wow.
You know, Yeezy F Baby, Yeezus, what's his name? Louis Vuitton Don. What else does he call himself?
I can't keep up with the reinventions. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm still on the college dropout.
right, with the backpack. Yeah. With the flipped up collar. So so Kanye West became a billionaire, and Forbes announced that he is worth $1.3 billion based off of his Yeezus empire, we'll call it. And Kanye West then wrote out that somebody at Forbes can't count because he's worth $3.3 billion. So I just want to say to everybody during this quarantine,
just when you thought your life sucked.
Just when you thought that the world was going to Hades in the handbasket, there are people out there who are being blessed financially. And thank you to the Trump administration for allowing for compounding wealth and allowing for a lot of money to just keep earning money, limitless, taxless. We're never going to see benefits from that. Only thing we can just see is his whack shoes. We're never going to see any type of, he's not going to contribute that back out through society in an effective way. No, none of that. So, I mean, how do you ladies feel about that? You don't have to feel a way. I don't really feel a way. It's just that I'm like, low-key, I'm like, oh, you know, he kind of whined for this for a very long time. He about it, he kicked and screamed for it.
No concerns over it for me. I I have like 2 or 3 points about that. Number one, I was thinking in my head, well, it's about time. I mean, he's had the mouth of a billionaire for the better part of like 20 some years. Yeah, he came out like 20 years ago. And it's like, okay, also, I was like, yeah, your little sister-in-law is a billionaire already. Granted, she grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth, but I was like, what, Kanye West isn't a billionaire already? Like, oh, I didn't realize that. And also, the way we grew up, I mean, rich is rich to me. I just now looked up the net worth of Kim Kardashian, and I guess she's only worth $350 million. I was like, well, okay, I guess compared with $1 billion, that's a lot more money. But honestly, I mean, they're not going to spend that in their lifetime. So to me, if you're making anything over $100 million, like that's just pretend money. That's all a fantasy. Like 100 million, there's a lot that you can, that you can do, that you can work with. If you really work hard at it, you can exhaust $100 million very quickly, let's say. But once you get past that, it's all just monopoly money to me.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I definitely agree. Congratulations to Kanye West for becoming a billionaire. I don't think compounding wealth started with the Trump administration. We all know that been America. Okay, that's been what we're rooted in. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised Kim Kardashian is only worth $350 million. That's what surprises me, because she's been hustling for some years now in a very unique way. So that's kind of surprising to me. And I also agree with the fact that it just feels like he's just a crybaby to me. He's just a crybaby. He's privileged. He's entitled. And I understand that you kind of are self-made in a way, in terms of you came from nothing. But why your attitude so stank, though? I don't understand. If you came from nothing, why are you not as humble as you should be? I understand Kim Kardashian. You've been rich. You don't even know what the hood smell like. So I get your point of view, but Kanye, yeah, I think he's just way too prideful for me. And then the line looks like ripped up clothes. The shoes are overly priced. It's just not for me. But I mean, congrats to you, Kanye West. Congrats. For sure.
What I've noticed, just with the one thing I did like about what's going on, I think this is kind of like a humbling experience for everyone. I don't know famous people. But it does seem like, it is nice to see people who are typically out and about and always in your face or being shoved in your face, not even intentionally, just like a side effect of what they do. It is kind of nice to see people just at home kicking it or not seeing them at all. I do appreciate not hearing about, like, I used to watch Wendy Williams, like her Hot Topics every morning on YouTube. And
Man.
I have to admit, it's nice not to hear her take on Kim Kardashian's flip flops. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy to not hear about that.
I'm feeling like Wendy a little bit right now because she has nothing to talk about. If she's not out in people's business, she's got nothing to say. I feel it. I can't watch her. She's too painful though right now.
No, I agree. I agree. So let's get into something a bit more, a one celeb situation that was kind of shoved in our face. So I don't know if you guys watch. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and Jeff Goldblum was on there. That's a scenario for some fun. But of course, one of the drag queens dressed up in a hijab that had the American flag on it. And Jeff Goldblum decided to input his 2 cents, and he was like, okay, so let's just talk about this, about a religion that's anti-woman and anti-gay. And he was just going on and on, talking about a situation he clearly knew nothing about, but with the entitlement of a man who had written books and books. You would think he were like some type of scholar on this. And it just irritates me when people try to, from the outside, especially from a stance of intellectualism, try to criticize somebody's entire belief system that they were raised on, that societies are based upon, that have been around for hundreds of, like, for centuries, and try to just reduce it down to something that, I mean, what society isn't anti-gay? What society hasn't been anti-woman and still isn't anti-woman?
That's what I was thinking when I saw that. Like, oh yeah,
like, isn't it? This ain't new. You know what I mean? That's not insight.
Women, we didn't always have rights in America without no religion. So
I just thought it was, for me, it was kind of triggering because it was like, I mean, the amount of people who I saw who agreed with him, who were like, oh, did he lie? Did he lie? And I'm like, would you even know if he lied? Do you know anything about, like, Islam? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I just think, for me, as I said, I can't think of a society that isn't anti-gay or anti-woman with or without a religious doctrine, you know?
I think that it was okay to ask the question, but my thing is, well, what was your point? Because you never got to that. You just kind of made a comment and threw it out there, but I was trying to understand, why are you asking that? So are you saying that the drag queen is pretty much a contradiction? Because that's what I was understanding. It's pretty much you're trying to say that, you know, wearing the hijab and being a drag queen is a contradiction, which I totally get and understand. I'm not here to argue religion, or I don't know what Islam. I know that they are pretty much anti-woman, and well, not anti-woman. I don't want to put that on the whole religion, but pretty much they haven't been so nice to women all the time and haven't been so nice to gays all the time. But I think that when you speak on things that you don't know about, you really sound ignorant. And he said it in his comment. He said, maybe I sound stupid. Yeah, if you should have thought that and then stop talking, because I think that especially in the day and age we live in today, you know, we're, especially America, we're like freedom of speech, freedom of everything, except for freedom of saying stupid stuff. Because as soon as somebody says something wrong, we jump on them. So I think it was okay to ask the question. I think we need to offer him a little bit of grace, and it should be a learning opportunity for him, because it's okay to ask. I would love for somebody to say that to me and be, so, because I'm ready, I got an answer for you. But she is, do you say she with the drag queens?
No, it's, well, when they're in drag, it's she, but if they're out of drag, they're just who they are.
Okay. So with the individual in question, I think that when they wore that hijab, they said that they weren't religious, but they were trying to make a statement. So my thing is, when you ask that question about somebody and they say they're not really all that religious, and then you're going to follow up and ask them a question about the religion, I don't think it was tasteful at all. Clearly, I don't know, or clearly it just wasn't right. But I think we need to offer him a little bit of grace. I don't think we should have attacked him like that, or Twitter or whoever got on his back. I don't think we should have jumped on his back like that.
So I didn't read up on this, unfortunately. I don't follow Drag Race, but is the model / designer wait, this isn't. I see. That's how much I don't watch these shows, because I confuse that with, what is it? The other one with
America's Next Top Model.
I used to watch America's Next Model, but the other one, Project Runway. The drag queen, is she Muslim?
Culturally.
No. Oh, okay.
Grew up
Ooh, that's a good answer.
Because it says that she's from Iran. I'm like, okay, but are you, if you grew up Muslim, like, okay, that's one thing. Because I was gonna say, like, if you don't have ties to it, then don't be wearing it. But if she does have some ties to that religion, to that culture, okay, we'll let that slide. And to me, I mean, just listening to the comment that Jeff Goldblum says, I'm a big fan of Jeff Goldblum, but his ignorance was showing heavy in there. And I mean, it's pretty thick in there, and it's very blatant, like you said. I mean, you said it all, Brianna. Like, just think before you speak. And
Yeah, it was okay to ask the question, but I don't think it was in the right spirit in which he asked. I don't think that he was asking from a place of wanting to be educated. He was trying to be condescending, and he was trying to prove a point that you are contradicting yourself. And don't ever try and embarrass me on national TV. Don't do that. Do not do that.
Yeah, because I would say a lot of religions would not necessarily hold strong, tolerant, like I would say most religions aren't super supportive of homosexuality, or of, let's say women's rights. Okay, let's say that in particular, because with each religion there is some good and some room for improvement. I mean, I have a friend who she's Muslim, she converted, and I mean, I had to do some studies of the Quran, and we just sat on we sat on Skype for hours, and she pretty much broke it down for me, like, no, these are all the rights that I have. And so we went through kind of line by line, and she's kind of helping me, summarize what it was all about. And so that definitely gave me perspective. And also, I had to educate myself on the difference between just practicing Islam and Sharia law. So Iran, which is a country that imposes, Islam to be the religion of the country, you will always have somebody that will defect against that, because you shouldn't have to survive. You shouldn't have to, practice one religion to survive or to be accepted, as a citizen of your country. But obviously, we all know this. We're all educated women. That is not at all the mindset of the entire religious group. One does not make the whole. I think that's just overall, something that needs to, we can say it till we're blue in the face, but I'll say it again till I drop dead, that, like, one never makes the whole. And yeah, like you said, he needs a little bit of grace, but also Jeff Goldblum, you're just ignorant. Like you said, you weren't trying to gain perspective on that. You were just trying to make somebody look stupid on TV.
Yeah, because I'm okay with people asking me those types of questions, especially being a Christian. I'm ready, but don't come for me, because you need to have the right spirit when you ask particular questions,
I agree. Just to kind of piggyback off of what we're talking about, how like one group or one person doesn't make up what an entire society thinks. What do you guys think about the protests that have been happening at state houses all over the country, Michigan, Ohio. I think was that in Utah with the woman in the car and the nurse. I forget, somewhere in the Southwest. What do you like? First, what are your initial thoughts, and then I'll give my piece.
You don't see people like us out there. That's my first thought. That's my first thought. We not out there. We not here for that. I'm not.
My thoughts on the protests is I totally understand, and I'm going to tell you why. We were created for relationships. We were created for more than just to be in quarantine. So I understand the people's hearts. I understand that you want to get back to work.
Yes.
I understand that you may have a business that you want to open.
Yes.
I get that you want to interact with people. You're tired of being at home. I get it. And I understand why maybe lack of information, lack of understanding would want to push you to protest. So I get it. We were built for relationships. That's why we have a group of people called the government to make these decisions, because clearly we can't all be on one page. So that's why we have the government who has all the information and the knowledge and the understanding and hopefully the wisdom to say, I hear you, but just like a parent has to implement tough love, the government may have to implement tough love on us and say, hey, I hear you, but I'm looking out for you. And the information that I know says we should still be closed.
Well, I to go off, I get what they're trying to do. I do. They want to go back to work. They want the economy to restart. You know, they want all of these things, but I just don't understand why we are like why our society has developed to a point to where when there's a pandemic going on, our first thought isn't let's try to take care of each other as citizens. Let's try to prepare. Let's try to stabilize the economy as much as possible. And then, so once everything is settled, then we can be ready to go back to work, you know? So like, not to be that person, but like, you know, in other developed countries, they're getting a stimulus every month. Like, I think it's like $2,000 a month or $1,500 a month, which is money for some people. You know what I mean? It's enough to cover your bills. You may not be able to order DoorDash, but you can still like pay your bills. You can do all these things. They're not out there in the street trying to get back to work.
I wonder what the disconnect is between America and the other developed nations, because, you know, a lot of them are capitalist societies too, but, you know, America has always been, you know, trained with the motive to think about number one first. And number one is me. Number one is my dollar, my finances. We're a very individualistic country. And so, I mean, there is a lot of selfishness, and you kind of look at what the beliefs are of the groups that are leading these protests, and it very much is as long as it affects me, I care about it. If it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to keep my head in the sand. Like, I think about the kinds of groups who are protesting. I think about the people who are protesting this, and the majority of them, where were y'all when, you know, we were protesting against police brutality? Where were y'all when, you know, gays were fighting for their life? Where were y'all, you know, protesting, you know, just a couple months ago about immigrants being locked in the cages without proper, you know, proper care and sanitation? Y'all weren't here, okay? So just because you're being inconvenienced, now we're treading on you. And it doesn't help that our government is doing a great job. Our government in Ohio is doing a great job to do what they need to do to keep us safe and be very careful. But other states aren't following that so carefully, you know, like Georgia and South Carolina. We've been ordered to stay at home since like the 23rd of March, and we're still on shutdown. you know, South Carolina and Georgia, they went on lockdown in like April 3rd, and now they're back up and running since the beginning of last week. So it's like, you know, if y'all aren't going to take this seriously, the country as a whole is just going to fail. But you see people from these other states that are still on lockdown, and they're like, well, they're doing it. You know, they know what liberty's all about. They know what freedom's all about. It's my choice. If I want to go out and risk my life, you know, so be it. You got people in there that are saying this disease isn't even real. And then you have, you know, our fearless federal leader who one day says, oh, yeah, this is not an issue. And the next day says, oh, yeah, this is a really serious issue. And then the next day he goes back on his word. He doesn't know, you know, depending on how he wakes up on the day, his opinion on what's going on could change. And it's unfortunate that we are becoming a country that is raised on opinion, that is being led based on opinion rather than scientific facts and diplomatic processes. I feel like that, you know, obviously that's my opinion, but I feel like you don't have to dig very far to back up with some facts.
No, I agree with that. You made a good point. You made a couple of good points, actually, like the one about how the protesters don't look like us. I just think it's crazy. I don't even know, like, we've talked about what they're protesting, but in reality, what are y'all protesting? Like, you're not protesting anything. You want to go back to work. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go back to work. But then again, what you're saying is you really want to spread this disease and make it worse and risk, I think it was like 2 million people that would have died if we hadn't had flattened the curve. Like, I don't understand. I think it's just annoying that we're starting to rely more on opinion than fact. And it's embarrassing to an extent because it's like, what are you running on? Like, I just, like, okay, so I don't understand why they're out there with guns, machine guns, not little guns.
Americans love guns, okay? That's just what it is.
They've been looking for their moment in the sun to have these guns out because this, hopefully, not any more extreme in the years to come, but this may be the closest that they can get to forming their little militia that they've planned for the last like 100 years.
Right. Doomsday preppers are ready. They are laughing at us all right now.
Look, no, I'm like, for me, I'm like, okay, like, so you're not protesting anything tangible. Like, you realize you're protesting like a virus. Like, that's so privileged to me. Like, y'all don't have any other real problems. Y'all not getting shot by the police. Nobody's forcing you to have kids. No one's forcing you to give birth, despite what, you know what I mean, what type of trauma you went through. No one's doing any of that. The government isn't invading you in any way. With the government, we have enough money and enough funds to reassuredly, like, ensure that people are taken care of for this short time period. Then once everything is flattened, we go back to work. Like, it's not like you said, Amanda, some states have only been shut down for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, what I also don't understand is like, I can't even talk about it, but I just can't, like, it is extremely privileged to me. It makes us look so foolish. That's what it makes us look like. Like, you're not really, like, you want to go back to work. Like, they keep saying, we shouldn't be getting paid we shouldn't be getting money that we haven't earned, that we haven't worked for. But this money we've been working for our whole lives. You know what I mean? We've been paying taxes. So when moments like this arise, we'll be covered. Like, so I don't know where did you think the money came from in the first place? It's because we all worked for it.
Where do you think money comes from? It didn't just pop out the air.
It's just people who love having that boot on their neck. And when it's not on their neck, they trying to lick it, basically. Like, let me put this boot on your neck, and then when I get the boot off your neck, can you lick my boot for me, please? Because it's like some people just love to adhere and believe and subscribe. This is crazy. I'm going to softly recommend a movie that I just saw on Hulu a couple days ago because it's really goofy, and it's not the best movie I ever saw. It's like an independent film, but Tiffany Haddish plays the wife, and her husband plays a writer who's really good friends with Mindy Kaling. And so he wrote a movie called The Oath. And so basically what it's about is a fictional oath that has been enacted that they want every citizen of the United States to sign to prove their loyalty to the president of the United States and to the country. And so basically saying, when I sign this oath, I will support our president, and I will extinguish any aversion, domestic or foreign. So basically, I don't want to hear it. I'll do whatever it takes to support my leader, to support my country. It's just very patriotic. And so the whole movie is based around, well, I'm not signing that oath. We're not signing that. And then like all the family members that come over for Thanksgiving, like, are discussing how they signed it because they believe in it or because they were too scared, so on and so forth. So the movie does have some problems. There's some cultural problems in it that I'm like, that's a little bit cringy to me. But overall, like the bigger message of just these people who just blindly adhere and follow, somebody who is just a mere mortal, because I mean, that at the end of the day, these people who are making decisions that they blindly want to follow or be brainwashed by, I mean, they're just men. And I'm sorry, I mean, nobody should put that much faith into just one man or a group of men, women, or what have you. Like you said, like, oh, I shouldn't get money that I didn't work for. Why? Because you're going to be afraid that somebody's going to make fun of you for collecting welfare, because it's definitely not welfare. It's aid, it's assistance, it's there to help people. Like you said, you pay into it. You should, you guys always complaining about my tax dollars are going to this, my tax dollars are going to that. Like, I don't even see any benefits to this. Well, here's your chance to collect some money on this. Maybe you should get you some, protesters. Go get you some, because that's right. You pay for it. You deserve it. This is your tax dollars hard work. Go get some. I know somebody very loosely who works a job that never shut down during coronavirus. It was a service labor type of position. And so this individual, just shared on Facebook recently that they had come down with coronavirus. So now this is a small handful of people I know, like across the country, that had it. This one is local. And, like the person had some minor symptoms and so on and so forth. And then I just saw another post recently that they were back to work. And I was like, see, this is that stuff I'm talking about. Like, you're confined to your job. You're in a hard place. You don't know if you can stay home. I can see why I can see why people are protesting for that, but I feel like that's just foolishness. Like, stay home. You had a diagnosis not even, 7-10 days ago, and you're back to work. Like, this is the problem. This is why we don't want y'all, we don't want to open up the whole state yet. We're not ready, because people think they have to work through this coronavirus, because again, that whole pressure on your neck of, I don't ever miss a day of work. Like, I'm a good, hardworking person. I'm not lazy, blah, blah, blah. It's not lazy to take care of yourself. It's not. Self-care is really difficult for a lot of people. And it's very important that, people learn how to do that. People need to learn to take care of themselves and love themselves, even if that means sitting in your living room for a couple days, couple weeks.
No, I agree. Okay, that's a good point. I thought people would be protesting the opposite. I thought we would be protesting for more masks, or protesting for more funds, or protest, things that make sense to me, not not like, I didn't work for this government aid. And I'm like, well, as we've talked about, yes, you have. It's just weird how like how our brains work. And it is, you made a good point, Amanda, like that we're becoming a society based upon, it's funny how like that sector of society is very much anti-emotions, but it's very much not based on anything but how you feel things should be and not the opinion on how things are. I was actually discussing this with my brother, believe it or not, about how we tend to in our society focus on how things should
Your
be.
brother,
Huh?
that man single?
Yes, he is. We can talk about that later. But yeah, we're
He didn't grew up. Okay. Okay. Sorry, go back, go ahead.
But we were talking about like how as a society we tend to react to how things should be or how people think other people should be versus how things are. And I think that's a good transition for us to start talking about OnlyFans. So to all the listeners out there, I hope I summarized what OnlyFans is correctly. It's a new platform where you can upload content of yourself in sexual manners for money.
Caveat. It's
yes.
not only for that, but that's
okay.
how it's become successful and known for that.
Okay, well, I don't know what OnlyFans is, clearly. All I know is that people are funding their first homes via OnlyFans. People are paying their rent via OnlyFans. But just to kind of go back what I was talking about, well, me and my brother were talking about how we tend to react to like, oh, teenagers are having sex. You know what I mean? Let's just shame them, as opposed to this is what happens. Teenagers have sex. This is a different topic, but like this is an example. Like this is what happens.
Where did we just go?
I know we were going on a little bit of a tangent, but what I'm saying is like, just like there are things that this is how it is, not first. We're reacting right now. I feel like how we feel like it should be, but right now we're in a pandemic. I believe we're approaching the tail end of it, but this is how it is. This is what we react to. We don't react to some type of theory and principle that the country was based upon. What does that have to do with what? Those aren't two separate things. Like, we're the land of the free. We should be free to take care of each other and take care of ourselves until the end of at least a pandemic. Like, we should really be questioning ourselves. I don't know if all that made sense, but that's how I feel.
I had a question about OnlyFans. Like, I get it that it sounds like it's like the Snapchat of porn, but like, what makes it special? Like, is it secure? Are you not allowed to take screenshots of it? Is that why you get to see like some of your influencers in a different light? Because like I follow Chris Crocker, he's the Leave Britney Alone guy, and so he's always been very open about doing pornographic movies, but now it's switched over to this OnlyFans. So like, if anybody can kind of fill me in, like,
and thank you for bringing him up as the Leave Britney Alone guy. That will forever be in my memory. So OnlyFans, for those that don't know, OnlyFans is a subscription-based platform where you can pay to watch, pay per view. So pretty much the reason why it's blowing up so much is it's another way for influencers and people to kind of monetize on themselves, to not feel like they have to be under a big umbrella of, movie studios and managers and things like that, and for people to be able to monetize on what they have to offer. Now, how it works is you pay to watch. So I saw one YouTuber that I have that she's off the chain now, but she pretty much charges $3 a month. She's like, it's $3 a month for quarantine time. So pretty much you pay $3 just to get in to watch whatever content they have on there. So pretty much influencers are putting exclusive content on that platform. What I love about it as a YouTuber is that you have a subscription base, so you know how much, kind of in a way, you know how much money you're going to get. When you record a video, it's kind of up in the air of how much money you're going to get. But let's say you have 30,000 subscribers on OnlyFans, each one of those people paid $3 just to get in the door. Then they have these things, of course, where you could upcharge people for really exclusive stuff. So you can say, hey, I got a couple pictures on here now, but if you want to see a video, it's going to be extra $10 just to see the video. So porn, I don't even know what adult film stars are taking over the platform just because it's easier to make money in a time like this where we're all in quarantine, so people are using kind of their partners and things like that. But there are people on OnlyFans that are not selling the goods and services. Amen. There are people on there that are really trying to make a good living, but the way that it's blown up is based on people selling particular goods and services.
So it's been tainted. So for example, like if I'm trying to think of who's like a really popular clean celebrity. Oh my gosh, the cleanest person I could think of is like Candace Cameron or something. If she had an OnlyFans account, like she has millions of fans that would probably pay for it because they're like die-hard fans of her. But like immediately people would think, why is she doing porn now? Because they've monopolized this tool. So it's one of those where it's going to be really hard to separate it, isn't it?
It is, because when you find out somebody has an OnlyFans, that automatically pops up. Like when you find out somebody has a Tinder or a Grindr profile, you kind of look like, what you doing on there? What you really doing on there? So, but I think it's an amazing platform for people that are content creators such as myself and want, not only we post all day, you guys know, we post things that are totally free all day, every day long. And it will be nice to be able to say, have somebody subscribe to me and actually pay. Now, the highest you can go is like $50 for a subscription. The lowest you can go is like $3. But I found out that it's easier. You can make more money if you charge less of a door entry fee. So if you charge less at the door, you can get more people in, as opposed to charging $50, and you may have 10 people in for $50, but you may have 10,000 people in for the $3.
So how is this different from like Patreon?
What is Patreon?
So Patreon is kind of like, well, it sounds like what you're describing as OnlyFans, but Patreon's like a subscription service where, like, if you are some type of creative or you have a website or a blog or anything, you can just offer for a monthly fee. You can offer exclusive content. So a couple of the podcasts I listen to, they'll upload more candid, more raw material. Or like Issa Rae on her Patreon, she offers like a lot of interviews with a lot of writers, a lot of producers, a lot of short films she puts on there, like a lot of exclusive information if you're trying to become someone in that field. There's a website I follow called the Anonymous Production Assistant or something, and he posts like job posts every month exclusively on Patreon.
Maybe it's the adult content, because you're not able to do that on every single platform. So I'm not sure if you can do adult content on Patreon, but it sounds like Patreon may be the good version of OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is, I don't have an account. I don't. It's just I've done my research and I've heard about it with following so many different influencers. People are constantly talking about how you can make so much money on OnlyFans. So
it sounds like one of those anything goes, and it just links immediately into your Instagram. So like, I mean, you know, having a little bit of a dabbling with like modeling and stuff, I follow, you know, a lot of my favorite models, and for the most part, they're clean, but some of them like to show a little bit more than, you know, would be mainstream. And so on Instagram, you can't show much. And so for those that are feeling a little bit more daring, they may be able to kind of have like, it sounds like the Wild West to me, actually.
It is. Yeah. Anything goes on OnlyFans. That's why it kind of sucks, because I think it would be a great platform for, you know, influencers and content creators. And there are people on there that are doing great, wholesome content, not showing anything, not, you know, getting naked or anything like that. But the reason why it blew up is because people are making real money doing those types of things, unfortunately, in my opinion.
I would say too, it sounded like it had a lot of promise to it. And so for those individuals who decided to go that route, you know, good for them for getting their money. But yeah, it sounds like that, you know, that light changed real quick from other people who could have benefited from that outlet.
Do you know who has an OnlyFans account? Aaron Carter.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Aaron Carter has an OnlyFans account. So there are some pretty B-list celebrities that I consider, because I used to love Aaron Carter though. When he used to make music before the drugs and things. But yeah, it's just some celebrities. That's why it's a lot of content creators, but also real adult film stars that have been making a living doing this for real have moved over to OnlyFans. So when I get on there, y'all, if y'all ever hear that I have an account, y'all know what it is. Don't question what I'm doing and why I'm there. Okay, amen?
You might want to get a Patreon. Don't even risk it. Don't even risk going to church talking about, yeah, come support my OnlyFans account. People will be like, oh my goodness. I was thinking of, I think certain things are becoming more like acceptable. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that I thought that OnlyFans was just like a website that you could just upload paid content of nudity, and it didn't even like, and not even think twice about it. Like, oh, okay, that person on Twitter bought this via an OnlyFans account. I was like, well, if people wanted to see all that and enough to pay for her a car or pay for him a car, like there's a Nicki Minaj's ex. His name is Safari. He's on one of the Love and Hip Hops, and he has an OnlyFans account. And I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about like if he charged like $50 a person, and only like 3% of his fan base on Instagram subscribed, he would make $900,000 for a month.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that puts it in perspective. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, you know. But for me, I was just like, wow. Like I heard Lizzo was gonna make an OnlyFans, which is on brand for her. But
yeah, I don't think that we should assume that people are gonna be on there showing stuff. I think we should give people the benefit of the doubt, and until we subscribe to their content, we should not assume that they're doing something nasty.
That's good. I feel like if Lizzo were to have an OnlyFans account, or OnlyFans, she would probably have a healthy blend between racy and like super fan, like special stuff, you know, because Lizzo will be pushing the envelope very regularly. Okay, so
she's pushing the envelope on her regular Instagram.
Right. So she may get a touch more risque, but I can't picture her going all the way. I think she's just I think she would be very well balanced on her OnlyFans account.
It's crazy to me how Lizzo is like a household name. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel very like proud about it. I'm happy that I can.
What makes you proud about it?
Not proud. That's not the right word, but like when I first saw her, I was like, oh, you know, the girl that is a big girl playing the flute. Like it just seemed like she was trying to be unique. But now she's like a household name, and she's regular in a sense that it's like, oh, okay, Lizzo. We all know who Lizzo is now.
Yeah.
We need her to continue to be just regular, like you said, like regular, like her uniqueness makes her exquisite, makes her popular, but we need Lizzo and more people like Lizzo to just be the norm. Like that's why she's so special to everybody, because Hollywood is not accepting a lot of people like her in the capacity that she's doing it, you know, and so I get that, you know. I hope that we continue to push that. We don't have Lizzo here on your outline, Clarissa, because
You don't.
Because I don't have any shade towards Lizzo. She's doing the dang thing, but some of her supporters, I could get a migraine over. So we don't have to talk about them today if you don't want to, but I got some words for them.
What's up? What do you mean? Hold on. Now I'm curious. A Lizzo supporter. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean?
I wrote a post on Facebook about probably 5 months ago about a conversation I had with a Lizzo fan. Overall, and then I had a very long conversation with a friend of mine. Overall, how can I summarize this into some quick words? White women be doing too much. Sorry. That's my opinion. That doesn't speak for the whole. But I was in a conversation with a young girl. She was probably about, maybe 24. I'm 31. And she and her friends, I was at like a little house party. She and her friends, obviously were obsessed with Lizzo, as everybody is, and rightfully so. And we had a conversation. I said something about, I had mentioned something like, I'm not quite familiar with Lizzo's music yet, but I'll get around to it. I feel like I was doing the Lizzo thing before she came out, but she's great. And she goes, well, Lizzo's actually popular, so da da da. And I said, in my mind, I said, hold up. First of all, she makes music for everybody and wants everybody to love themselves, number one. And I mean, at the end of the day, ooh.
Oh, I guess it's the end of the day.
Her laptop must have died, because that thing been beeping this whole time. I was wondering who that was.
She said, "Ooh."
That's funny.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. She just texted me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Her computer died. Well, while she's rebooting it, I want to go into Regina Hall and Kevin Hart. Two people. Okay. Well, two people that generally warm my spirit. I am a huge fan. I am an only fan of Regina Hall. I think she is so funny. I think she's underrated. Mm-hmm. I think she should be way bigger than she is. I mean, I think she has to have one of the best like comedic timings of an actress that I personally have seen. Mm-hmm. And I think like that little video, she ran that video. Kevin Hart, the main reason why I'm a fan of Kevin Hart is because I think he works so hard. Like, to me, he has that Tyler Perry hustle, but like with business smarts and refinement to an extent. Like when he grinds, when I think about like what kind of grind do I need to have to succeed, I want to have that Kevin Hart grind. And I rarely attribute positivity to one person or one thing. Like I rarely am like, oh, I want to be like this person in some type of sense. But that grind to me is like amazing. Like I like how his mind works. I don't necessarily think, I think he's generally like a likable person. I don't know him. I don't know if he's a good person. I don't know how he treats his staff. I don't know none of that. I don't want to know any of that. Mm-hmm. But all I know is that he's always grinding. And he just keeps going. He has a special. He has this. He has that. He has his own production company. And like not on a small scale, but on like a big scale. And like when I see him in interviews, you can see his brain is always working. You know what I mean? Like he's always on brand. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So
that's sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with you on all of that. I love Kevin Hart's grind. I do love how he works so hard. Every time he does one thing, it's like another thing coming after us. He doesn't let up in terms of producing and putting out things with his face on it. So in terms of that Regina Hall video, yeah, she killed that. It just took me back to remember when she did the parody of Scream?
Yes.
That took me back when she went into that scary mode and she was acting like she was crying. I was like, oh my goodness, I miss seeing you in this mode, because wasn't she in Girls Trip, or
Yeah.
what was it called? Yeah,
Girl Trip. But she played like a serious character in Girl Trip.
exactly. That's what I'm
I don't know
saying.
why they did that.
Yeah, I missed her being that kooky character that I'm used to from the 90s and the early 2000s. I'm used to her acting crazy, acting ghetto, like in a funny way that's not, super crazy and disrespectful. But when she did that with Kevin Hart, it gave me nostalgia and what I'm used to watching from her back in the day.
I'm back.
Hey,
Yay.
are you
Sorry about that. I was taking a big deep breath, and then I realized I hadn't turned on the power switch. I see you're talking about the Regina Hall bit, which I love, and it felt it in my soul today, because I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go on this broadcast with no makeup on right now, and I don't have it in me to even do that. If I was Regina Hall, though, I mean, I probably would wake up every day and be like, yeah, fight me, like I look amazing. I would probably fight myself not to put on makeup, knowing I have a bunch of people watching me. But today, no, it wasn't going to happen. But let me know if you want me to get back to my rant on the Lizzo fans.
Yeah, girl, close out the rant, and then we can go back into Regina. Okay. Close out your rant, because I forget. I think you said like at the end of the day, and then your laptop cut. So I want to hear what happens at the end of the day.
Here we go. I will read the Facebook post that I put out on September of last year. I said, I was punched down on by a skinny white girl for not knowing Lizzo's lyrics. And to that I said, well, I dig her, but I've always been fat, black, and awesome. I said, I like her, but I've always been fat, black, and awesome. So like, I had not yet reached a fandom level yet. And so she goes, well, Lizzo's popular. And I was like, excuse me, I said, you're literally not who she's here for, okay? Lizzo and I both spent 30 years learning to love ourselves for you, B-words, to elevate yourselves as ultimate fans like she is the gospel. Nah, do your own heavy lifting. I've even heard if she can love herself looking like that, then I can love myself too. So that was what I was hearing, and that is what that's what took me a long time to really become a fan myself, because fans will always spoil something for me before I get a chance to like really do my own research and find my own appreciation. So basically what I was trying to say in a nutshell is like, don't punch down like people just love that, oh wow, she's like this amazing overweight woman who's so talented, and she's not light skinned, she's chocolate, and wow, like if she can love herself looking like that, I can love myself too. And so I won't say anymore. Y'all can figure it out for yourselves. It's just I don't find that to be the right way to go about idolizing somebody, and you also shouldn't idolize somebody else. Like I don't understand why we can't just appreciate an artist for what they are, like what they're doing, and what they're doing for people. I don't know why everything has to be the gospel. She is just one woman. And the other thing that I kind of had an issue with is like people assuming I knew Lizzo songs because I resemble Lizzo's demographic. And it was like, I have no shade to Lizzo. She is amazing. She's doing her thing. But certain people just assuming like, oh, you know who she is. You have to love her, right? You must love Lizzo because you're fat and black too. Like, these are the assumptions. You're fat and you're black. So like, she makes you feel good about yourself, right? No, I have my own self-esteem. I appreciate her for her artistry. I don't need to appreciate her for putting some self-esteem in me. And not that that's wrong, but where was y'all self-esteem before she came around? And why why does her looking like the way she is and acting like the way she is and doing Lizzo all of a sudden give you permission to feel good about yourself, and at the same time punch down on other people who are actually walking in similar shoes that Lizzo, has walking in her footsteps, I don't know if that makes any sense, but let me know if I can clarify that at all.
So my admiration for Lizzo is kind of, you missed this part, but I was talking about what I admired about Kevin Hart, and that I don't, like you were saying, I don't think it's right to idolize a person, because that's not what I do. But I think I like Lizzo's grind. I like her artistry, and I like that she does. I mean, I don't know how she feels about herself. I'm not Lizzo. I'm not in her inner circle, but I like that she doesn't outwardly allow it to impact the work that she wants to do. So that's what I like about Lizzo. And for me, that is a confidence boost for me, because it's like, you know what? Like I used to spend so much time thinking like, oh, I have to lose all this weight in order to do a thing, or like I have to be skinny before I go back out to LA. Like that used to always be in the back of my mind, because we talked about how the industry and how people, that's not even industry, people in general don't accept larger women, especially if they're Black, or if they are big and Black, they have to be a sassy, blah, 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 this type of person. So you always feel some type of pressure to entertain someone or to boost somebody's morale, when I'm not trying to boost your morale. I don't know you. So for me, I feel like just, and I'll keep this kind of short, but like, it's not my obligation, just because I'm outwardly different from you or I don't align with your aesthetic, to reinforce you in another type of way or to stimulate you in a different type of way. It's not my obligation to do any of that. But to transition kind of back into Regina Hall, we were talking about, you made a good point about people being chocolate, because if Regina Hall were freaking redhead and hazel eyes and white, let's be honest, she would be very popular. She would be an A-list. She's a big name now, you know what I mean? But like, we wouldn't have to only hear about this via BET. I don't know. I don't even know if my white listeners know who Regina Hall is. So.
I think that you got to be a certain type of person to know who Regina Hall is by name, because you can look at somebody and be like, oh, I recognize her. But we know who Regina Hall is. She been in the game. She been about it. She been about the culture.
That's Candy Girl.
Yeah, I'm not hearing from it from BET. I understand wanting to grow your audience. I get that, but I'm okay being for the people. I'm not for everybody, just as an individual. So I'm okay with being with a certain demographic, but I understand that wanting to grow, and I understand that she put some respect on her name and don't act like she just got famous yesterday. She's been famous. She's been successful. She's great at what she does. And I loved her video with Kevin Hart. I agree with you, Chris, in terms of she definitely outdid Kevin Hart in that video.
Yes, it's because her comedy is so genuine. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't second guess it. It doesn't seem like she second guesses it. It just seems like it comes so natural. Like when she started, he was like, raise your hand. Who's the pretty girl? And she was like, it's me. Like just very natural about it. Just like she didn't have to do improv. She didn't have to take no classes. No shade to me doing my improv, but like it just came to her.
Yeah. No shade to you, but she's had a lot of experience. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not. That's true. She's been doing it for like 25 years. but I just think like I don't know. I love that video. I watched it so many times, and I like that she started trending on Twitter because of it.
And I love that she came on the video not looking all that popping, because that's how we are all looking these days. I mean, yeah, I look cute right now. I can't tell you how my bottom half looks though. I will not reveal that. So
only on OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's your OnlyFans account.
You guys are funny.
But yeah, so that's, I mean, yeah, you did miss my rant about Kevin Hart, whose hustle I admire. Like, I want to make that. I don't like idolize him. I don't like idolizing people, but I do think he is a pretty good like blueprint on what the grind looks like. What I want my grind to one day look like, to have that much like go ahead with it, you know. But you know, I want to go ahead and close us out. We're pushing that limit. This was nice. This was a good chat. You know, a good chit chat. And I enjoyed speaking with you two lovely ladies. Where can I find you both? Amanda, where can I find you online? I know you do your virtual open mics, so you can go ahead and plug that because I want to see it.
Yeah, there's there are a lot of opportunities for open mic right now on Facebook. So I mean, just look me up on Facebook, Amanda Ramirez. If I know you're cool, I'll add you. Again, I still have issues with privacy. I'm not sure. I'm in between the desire to make it and to stay in my little turtle shell. So you can look me up there. You can find me on Instagram. @Ramirez. That's the phonetic spelling of my last name, and I'm sure I'll probably type it in a comment for you. But I'll be around.
Amen. I'm so Christian. I just say amen to everything.
I was like, wait a minute.
Me and my friends, we have this game that I'm so saved. It's just so funny the crazy things we say when you're so used to being and living a certain type of way. But anyway, you guys can find me on YouTube at It's BrianaJay. I have videos coming out whenever they come out. You can find me on Instagram at It's BrianaJay, as well as Facebook. I also have an amazing Facebook private group for those that are looking to grow in their relationship with God. You can go ahead and search Love God More by BrianaJay. And I post exclusive content for those that really want to grow their relationship with Christ. So go ahead and show up. Go ahead and look it up on the Facebook group page.
You better go ahead and turn that Facebook group into an OnlyFans. You know, people subscribe. Get your money up. So you can find me. I am Clarissa F. Trying to build my platform, you know, trying to build it up a little bit. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at I am Clarissa F. You can find this podcast on Facebook and Instagram at The Final Stretch with Clarissa F. On Twitter, for some reason, that was taken or it was too long. So you can find it on Twitter, CF Final Stretch. That's CF as in Frank, Final Stretch. New episodes are coming June 2020, so this summer, June 4th to be exact. I'll have new episodes, and I will be uploading from that point on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, the whole bit. Tomorrow you can catch me doing improv tomorrow night at the Nestival. The Nest Theater is where I do improv, and we're doing virtual improv. The house team I'm on is called Finch, named after the bird, you know, get it, Nest Theater. So I'll go ahead and link that to you guys. Where else can you find me? Maybe, you know, one of these days before all the bars open, I'll do a virtual open mic after my exam is over. Because I have been writing down different jokes that have come in my head, and I want to organize them and try them out. But, you know, that's where you can find me just right now. You know, like me on Facebook. You can add me, Clarissa Smith, too. But, yeah, that's where you can find me. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Amanda and Brianna, again, for coming on. If you want to, again, see these ladies' comedy, see these ladies' spiritual journeys, check them out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're out here. We're trying to make it. We're trying to be on our Regina Halls and our Kevin Harts and, you know, maybe our Lizzos, you know. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Have a wonderful time. Love y'all. Stay safe.